I try to make sense out of nonsense. And just 1 second, I forgot something. Oh, man. Huh. Don't go nowhere, y'all. I'm coming, y'all. Oh, well. Oh, well. And I'm back. My mission failed. I went looking for something, couldn't find it. Unbelievable. Totally forgot right before I logged on. Oh, boy, I tell you. It sucks getting old. At least I'm not on Joe Biden's level. Anyway, welcome to the show. Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And here we go again, y'all. Oh, boy. It just keeps getting worse. So, if this is your first time to my channel, make sure that you hit the like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other platforms. Make sure that somebody said, "You're late, Kevin." You're right. I was late to my own show. Actually, I was early. I was just, I misplaced something and I can't find it. And I'm thinking, why didn't I find it before I started the show? Yeah, I got caught slipping. But Texas number 330-974-4607. Text MAGA to that number so you can stay connected, and I'll confirm at some point that you're in Kevin's Corner. Secondly, before we get too deep into this, come here. Come here, guys. Look at this, guys. Oh, yeah. He got him a nice new fancy haircut and a nice handsome bow tie. He's ready. I think he's going to run against Joe Biden. Then I'm going to go ahead and vote for Gizmo. I think right now he's ahead in like 17 points over Biden. Anyway, had to get that out the way. Now scram. And then last but not least, make sure that if you can, support my channel through my fundraiser. I do it once a month. I just say $5 is great, but anything above that is awesome as well. And the link is below each one of my videos. So with no further ado, hit the like button before we get started. And let's get busy. Let me get loose, man, because we're going to have us some fun tonight. What? Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Throw your fist up and show some respect. Gorilla in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. So, guys, guess who's back? Mucus. Come out and play. Mucus is back, y'all. One of my favorite people to let have it. Well, let me get into the key of Mucus. Man and women. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's the Mucus cue right there. So let's go ahead and see what Mucus is talking about. Because once again, Josh Hawley is on his back. Josh Hawley done jumped on that back like a cowboy riding Mucus, breaking him. So let's see if Mucus can get Josh Hawley off his back during this little discussion. Oh, yeah, come on, Mucus. Come out to play.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Mayorkas, let me start with you. You're familiar with the chant "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free"?
Okay.
I am.
Do you know what it means?
I do.
Can you explain it to us?
Senator, that is a chant that speaks of Palestinian desire for its homeland.
That's it? Just desire for the homeland? That's it? See, watch how Mucus try to weasel around the very direct finality of that chant. See, it's not just give us the homeland. It's not just give us the homeland. So watch him try to tiptoe around this.
And a very expansive definition of its homeland at the expense of the independence of Israel.
At the expense of the independence of Israel. Yeah, you know, his homeland at the expense of the independent. He left a important piece out. The annihilation. The annihilation of Israel. Not just the independence. Oh, well, now that we got the land, you guys are no longer independent. I want you to wander around this desert here and meander about like some type of gypsies. That's the best we can do. We can't give you your independence back. Or could it be we want to drive every single one of y'all into the sea to drown? I wonder why Mucus left that key piece out.
Well, indeed. I mean, it calls for the elimination of Israel, does it not?
It does.
Then why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say that, Mucus? See, that's why I can't stand Mucus. I can't stand none of these folks because they always try to be politically correct. They have no backbone. They appease our enemies and all of that stuff. How about you cut straight through the Mucus and get right to the point?
So my question to you is, should students who are here on a visa, who gather and chant that slogan and actively advocate for the elimination of Israel and attacks on Jewish individuals, whether in the Middle East or here in the United States, as we're seeing on college campuses, should those students have their visas revoked?
You know what? That is a very good question. We will definitely take that into consideration. We will. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear you filibustering. I want you to get straight to it, Muke. Straight to it.
Senator, I believe you are referencing a provision in the Immigration and Nationality Act about which you have written to me, and I am very familiar with your assertion that that statutory provision requires the revocation of their visa.
But should they have their visas revoked? I'm asking you.
We are assessing your legal assertion. It is a matter of legal interpretation of the statute.
Oh, that's what it is? I thought it was a matter of us simply making that decision as a sovereign country. For someone who is not a citizen and don't have any rights and they're here on a visa, I thought it was a simple matter of, hey, look, man, y'all over here chanting death to Israel, y'all over here, backing Hamas. I'm a little concerned that we let you into the country. I mean, it's kind of almost like we let the Trojan horse right in. Now, I don't know what your intentions are, but just to be on the safe side, I think you should hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more. That's what I think you should do. What? Nobody likes it? So what? We run this country. So if we had a whole bunch of Americans going to school in China and was chanting death to China, you think they would tolerate us? You think they said, well, let's confer with the law, make sure we can legally deport these people who hate our country and are attending our schools, enjoying our tax dollars and all of this stuff? You think we should consult with that? No, they would say, go get those people and send them back to their country, dead or alive. See, so this guy right here is trying to play that's a very good question. We have to look at the legal ramifications. It could just be simple as, hey, stop saying that. What are you doing? Are you a citizen here? No. And you want death to Israel? You got to go. Go. Let's continue.
Well, just as a moral matter, I mean, should students who are here, foreign...
Somebody said, who is Mucus? You missed the beginning. Well, Deb, Mucus is a nickname that I've given to Mayorkas. It's so close to mucus that I just went ahead and said mucus. But there's a deeper meaning to mucus because he is the definition of mucus. Nobody likes mucus. Nobody. It's slimy. Sometimes it's green. Sometimes it's yellow. Mucus, the only time I want to see mucus is when I spew it out my mouth. That's it. But that's how he ended up getting the nickname Mucus, Secretary Mucus. All right, so let's continue hearing from Mucus.
Foreigners who are here in this country, accessing our university system and advocating for the killing of Jews, should they be allowed to stay here at our leisure?
Good point.
Senator, it is a matter of law, and it requires a legal interpretation, and I am not in a position to provide that legal interpretation. And let me add something.
No, we don't want to hear you. Put your little teeny, itty, bitty finger down. Okay, cue ball. You put your finger down. And then let me add something. He want to filibuster. He want to grandstand. He want to act like he's taking a stand. Let me say, Holly's not going to fall for that. Mucus always gets in the ring with Holly and tries the worst tactics. Holly's hip to his tactics, man. Mucus, all he can do is stall. He's going to try to wrap you up. You know he's going to do that. He's going to try to get you in a corner, wrap you up, hold on, run out the clock. Hopefully he can make it through the round without getting knocked out. So there he is again, trying to hold up everything that way. Let me also say that, nope. Grab that little teeny, beeny finger looking like some type of teeny, weeny hot dog and bend it all the way back. Teach Mucus a lesson. Get him, Holly.
Wait, I just, my time is very limited. I have to say, I think your answer is disappointing, but let me ask you something else. Let me ask you about people who say other things. What about people who say things like,
here comes the knockout. Here comes the knockout. Oh, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final fight. Mucus versus Josh Holly. Now, I'm excited about this fight. Now, every other time that Mucus and Holly went toe-to-toe, Mucus was almost killed every single time. So I'm predicting he probably will almost get killed again. Let's see how this all unfolds. Here we go. Ding!
on October the 7th, F Israel, I'm cleaning up the language here, F Israel, the government and its military. Are you ready for your downfall? People who say things like F Israel and any Jew who supports Israel. May your conscience haunt your dreams until your last breath. Palestine will be free one day. F apartheid Israel and is any Israeli. This is pretty.
Now see, Mucus should have learned by now that Josh Hawley comes out and he sets you up. So Josh Hawley is coming in with a slick technique. He already laid down the trap for Mucus. He's reading some quotes. Now, if I was Mucus, I would probably be saying, okay, I'm sure these aren't just random quotes from regular people running around the street. Somehow these quotes that he's reading is going to put me on the spotlight. I'm going to have to respond to these quotes that he's reading because most likely it's not coming from a regular citizen that doesn't have anything to do with Mucus. See, but Mucus don't see it coming. He walks right into the boxing gloves every single time. So now Josh Hawley is setting him up with the jab. But you know what? That's it. Mucus, it's time to fight back. And he's going to get knocked out.
Extreme rhetoric, don't you think?
Senator, I do, and I think there is a distinction between espousing or endorsing terrorist ideology and speech that is odious, that does not rise to that.
No, Mucus. No, you're trying to swing with them nice slow haymakers and missing. Because see, when y'all tried to put that dis and misinformation board together, you weren't talking about that there's a difference between speech that is encouraging terrorism. When you tried to declare that there were mothers and parents that were domestic terrorists because they didn't want their kids going through transition, you weren't talking about that then. You weren't separating the speech that is the protected speech versus the speech that encourages violence. Anything people on the right say, these folks will label as violence. You weren't saying any of that, Mucus, when you had your peeps connecting with dang on not Elon Musk, but Twitter and all these other platforms to censor us. You weren't talking about that. Let's not go too hard on these people because that is protected speech and there's a difference between. No, man, these people were extremists. We were encouraging violence. Who knows? I might even be on some terrorist list right now because of mucus. But now he's trying to separate it because he's starting to see the writing on the wall. Then most likely this person who he is referring to is connected to me somehow.
Level.
Fair enough. This person works for you. This is Nuja Ali, an employee of the Department of Homeland Security, who posted these comments on October the 7th.
Oh, mucus. Mucus, it's time for you to take a knee. It's time for you to look over at your ring and say, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Everybody know that look where you like, don't let this happen to me. Get me out. Throw the towel. All right. I don't want no more action. So now this lady works for mucus. She should be gone by now, right? I would think so.
That's not all she posted. She also posted this graphic. Now, this is a fake graphic, I want to be clear, but I think we understand
look
it.
at that.
This is a paraglider, a Hamas paraglider, depicted here with a machine gun flying into Israel. She posted it under her online alias
I
with
wonder
the
what that
celebratory Free Palestine.
Oh.
Secretary, what's going on here? Is this typical of people who work at DHS? This is
Oh, so Josh Hawley is tenderizing Mucus's ribs. He is all in his ribs. And all Mucus can do right about now is tighten up his elbows and protect his vital organs in a fetal position while Hawley is tenderizing him. But instead, Mucus is going to try to bow up and fight back. Watch this.
an asylum and immigration officer who is posting these frankly pro-genocidal slogans and images on the day that Israelis are being slaughtered in their beds. What have you done about this?
Four things I'd like to say to you.
Wait a minute, man. Mucus done grew up hair? He got some teeny little marbles somewhere down in there talking about the four things I want to say to you. What do you want to say, huh, Mucus? Huh, little teeny bitty man? I want to know what little Mucus got to say.
One, your question to suggest that that is emblematic of the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security is despicable.
Oh, God. Here we go. Here we go. Now, he knows that Holly is talking about one person. However, there is a lot of people in his department that do crazy stuff that never gets fired. I mean, you know, you got all kind of stuff that pops up, whistleblowers talk about, and then they ask, whatever happened to these people? That is an internal matter. We cannot discuss the internal matters about that. All of that crap. So now you got this employee that has said this, and Mucus knows this woman should be terminated. But he's going to try to do what Ilhan Omar did yesterday on my show, where I showed y'all the clip where the reporter were asking her and the other, Ayanna Pressley, about why do y'all want a ceasefire over there in Palestine when we still got terrorists over there and kids and folks are still missing? Why do y'all want a ceasefire? And instead of saying, you know what, you're right, Ilhan Omar tries to act like I'm offended. How many people do you want to see killed? How many Palestinians do you want to see killed? That right there is a tactic. Now you take on the I'm offended role. See, I can't believe you would even ask me something like that. That's that I've been busted doing something I shouldn't do. And instead of addressing what I did, you get mad. There it is. Roll up on your boyfriend or something. Are you in a car with another woman kissing? Man, you know what? How you gonna even... I can't even believe you would ask me something like that. But were you? You know what? I ain't gonna even entertain this. I'm offended. I'm offended that you would even ask something crazy like that. Because you know you were doing it. So here's Mucus. He knows I'm busted. So here I'm gonna go ahead and get mad and assume that you are suggesting that every single person in his department has these sentiments.
I'm sorry. What have you done? This person works for the Department of Homeland Security. Have you fired her?
That was one of four answers.
Have you fired her?
One.
Have you fired her? Don't come to this hearing room when Israel has been invaded and Jewish students are barricaded in libraries in this country and cannot be escorted out because they are threatened for their lives. You have employees who are celebrating genocide, and you are saying it's despicable for me to ask the question? Has she been fired?
Holy moly, Jim. I have never seen such a beating. I thought that Mucus' whole face exploded. That's what I thought. I'm not sure if he's even alive. Can you see him moving in the ring? I don't know. I've never seen anybody get hit in the face that hard. Unbelievable. But he had it coming to him. You know that, right? Yeah. His whole retaliation was completely off balance. I don't know what he was trying to hit, but he took a hit, that's for sure. Can you believe that? See, that's how you shut that mess down. That's how you go ahead and defend that lazy left that Mucus threw. You just block that mess and give him one right to the chin with some truth. You're going to try to get mad at me and misplace the blame just like Ilhan Omar. She's mad at Israel. She's mad at the reporter for asking the question. She's not mad at Hamas, who decided to go in and kill a whole bunch of innocent people and take people hostage. See? So that's how you misplace the blame. And Mucus tried that technique right there, and Josh Hawley had to knock his head almost completely off. So there he is now, looking like a fool. Instead of saying, you know what, you're right. Who is this chick again? I can't even believe she in my department. Hey, you know what? Hold on for a second. Wait a minute. Hello? Yes, this is Mucus. Is that person who said those horrible things still there? Yes, she's not there anymore because I just fired her. That's what should happen. Right there. Mucus should get on the satellite phone and make a call. But instead, Mucus is mad that you would even ask something like that. And that's why he just got his nose busted.
Mr. Secretary, after the consumption of Senator Hawley's time, I'd like to speak.
Has she been fired?
Because I will
We
not
would like
be,
an answer.
That's all we
because I
want to
will
know.
not be given the opportunity.
Has she been fired?
So that individual has been placed on administrative leave.
So she's not been fired.
Number two.
Why has she not been fired?
Number two, the individual was hired in 2019.
Why has she?
Ooh, Josh Hawley is in that corner while Mucus is trying his best. For number one, she's on administrative leave, and ow. He is getting his butt beat. The question is, has she been fired? Can you stop that assault? That's the only thing you got to stop, Mucus. See, Hawley's going to keep throwing that punch until you block it, until you stop it, okay? See, have she been fired? Actually, has she been fired? You know what? This is administrative. Has she been fired? I was thinking that maybe. So he's going to keep jabbing you with that.
She not been
Number
fired?
three, I cannot speak to an ongoing personnel matter.
Oh,
Why
there it
is
is.
this person?
There it is. That's the default, baby. I cannot speak to an ongoing matter. This is a matter about that.
Not been fired. Your answer is you can't speak to it? This isn't sufficient to fire her?
I am not in a position to speak to an ongoing personnel matter.
This isn't sufficient to fire her? That's what you're telling me?
That is not what I'm saying.
That is just.
She's still on your payroll as we sit here today.
That is not what I'm saying.
She's still on your payroll as we sit here today.
Senator,
How many cases? She was an asylum and immigration officer. How many cases did she adjudicate?
Senator, I'm not in a position to speak about an ongoing personnel.
I'm not asking about that. I'm asking you how many cases she adjudicated.
My answer remains.
Did she?
My answer remains, which is nothing. Yeah. So Mucus has just conceded to sit there in the middle of the ring and get punched in the face without trying to block nothing. He's sitting there in the middle of the ring, crisscross applesauce, Indian style, while Josh Hawley is firing right into his face. I'm not going to answer that. My answer is the same.
She adjudicate any cases involving Israelis seeking asylum in this country?
Good question.
Well, let me just point you to what else she posted on social media, where she drew attention to the fact that she is an immigration and asylum officer. Hashtag immigrants, hashtag asylum seekers, hashtag Palestine, hashtag refugees welcome. This is on her LinkedIn post.
These people must not care about their jobs. I mean, you work for DHS. What are you doing? That shows you could not be fair at all. You're pretty much saying that, you know what? I'm a plant. I'm a mole. I'm an activist in a role that I should be fair and balanced. But instead, I'm up here vomiting up my personal feelings about the Jews all over LinkedIn. and letting everybody know I'm in a position of power who can make decisions that might impact your life. But I'm letting you know I hate Jews. This is unreal, man. Like, the generations are getting dumber and dumber. I can't see a picture of her. I don't know what she looks like. She's most likely younger and radical. But see, here's the problem. When the administration hires for diversity and not loyalty to the country, not being proficient at your job, you hire a bunch of activists to do your bidding, but then it backfires on you. See? So here she is, some person working for the Biden administration. Y'all don't check that? I mean, right now, if I get a job, I'm sure they're going to find out that I do Kevin's Corner. And if they don't like the fact that I'm a conservative commentator, I got to eat that. Come in and explain it. Yeah, that's me. I'm Kevin from Kevin's Corner. I knew this might ruffle some feathers, But here's this woman. She's just straight in a position within the government. The last thing you should be putting on social media is how you detest a whole race or group of people. But not her. Unreal.
Where she has her professional affiliation posted. So I think the American people deserve to know, has she admitted, contrary to law, individuals who should not be in this country, or denied Jewish refugees whose genocide she's advocating asylum that they deserve?
Same answer.
You're not gonna tell us what this person's done. You conduct
Because I can't answer, because I don't know the answer to that, because I don't even know what goes on down at that border. For all I know, she could have let in 100 quadrillion billion refugees and terrorists. He can't answer that. That man can't even answer how many gotaways we got. Where are all the kids? I thought we misplaced about 300,000 kids, but I'm sure they're in the country somewhere. He doesn't know anything. So asking him that, he probably is honest about that one. I can't answer. Because he has no idea. Yeah, you're an activist. Go down there and do stuff. Activate. There you go. Use some of that activation down there on the border and let everybody across. So why not? Go ahead and let your buddies across. Unbelievable.
conducting a review of her cases at least?
Senator, as I have said over and over again, I cannot speak to an ongoing.
You said that you will not. I can't believe that you would come to this committee knowing this. You
I
know
can.
about this. I've written to you about it. You know all about it.
He does it every time, Josh. He does it every time. You could give Mucus the answers to the test. He'll still come and won't know it. All right, the answer to the test is that you let 6 million people come in since you've been in office, okay? You got that? Yes. Mucus, how many people have come into the United States illegally since you've been in office? I don't have those exact numbers right now, but I assure you that the brave men and women down at the border is working very hard to make sure. That's not what I asked you. You mean to tell me you don't know how many people came, went, how many gotaways, none of that? We're just winging it. That's what we're doing nowadays. Unreal.
And you come here unwilling to answer and suggest that it is wrong of me to ask you the question.
Oh.
Quite frankly, Mr. Secretary, I think that your performance is despicable.
Oh,
and
it
I think
is.
the fact that you are not willing to provide answers to this committee is absolutely atrocious.
And that is why he earned the nickname Mucus. He is the worst. Not only is he the worst, but his whole administration he works for is also the worst. They are the best at being the worst. So now we got to shift to creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe. And got to sit back and listen to the Australians and the English make fun of our fearless leader. And it's funny because it's true.
Released 4 hostages. 2 were American, 2 were Israeli. One is an elderly Israeli woman, and she spoke at a hospital in the past couple of hours.
They gave us pita bread and hard cheese and some low-fat cream cheese, and and a cucumber. That was our food for the entire day. We were the scapegoats. They had warned us 3 weeks before. But the masses, they came to our roads and they burnt our fields. They sent balloons with fire and burnt our fields. And the IDF didn't take that seriously.
Wow. So now, can you imagine making it back from that or being released? I mean, because when you're dealing with terrorists, you have no idea what they're going to do with you. In fact, you probably should assume the worst. And to come back from that, you're like, wow, why me and not everybody else? I mean, I was watching, I forget what I was watching, but they were talking about how Hamas came in and they just killed indiscriminately. They didn't care if you was American, if you was Jewish, if you was Asian. They were just there to kill and wreak havoc. So for all of these people over here, especially Americans who are supporting this and all of that and whining about it, if they would have just been over there minding their business and having a good time, just saying, I'm just going to go over and visit Israel. Honey, come on, let's go see it. You can be whatever race. If you were not with Hamas, you were a potential target because they came in to just kill a whole bunch of innocent citizens. People that weren't even Jewish were killed. Folks were taken hostage. So now this lady somehow makes it back. Thank God.
Now, interesting her comments there about the failures of Israeli Defence Force at the very start of the press conference, which is hard for us to turn around, but she just spoke about her experience as being hell-like, that she was taken, thrown on the back of a motorcycle, beaten, but then once she got to Gaza, was kept relatively peaceful and actually taking care of doctors while in the tunnels. Nigel Farage joins us now from London, where you too have had the protests, and there's been a much tougher edge than some of the ones that have happened here, even at the Opera House.
Oh, so wait a minute. Y'all ready for this? Stupidity is not just confined to the U.S. and our Democrats. Stupidity has spread across the whole globe. It's an epidemic. So now they having some problems over there in Europe too, with all of their inclusive Palestinian people that they brought in.
I think the words that were uttered at the Opera House were perhaps the vilest that we've heard anywhere around the world. But I think what happened in London on Saturday with 100,000 people on the streets was different in the sense that, yes, of course, they were shouting jihad, they were shouting curse to the Jews. I'm being allowed to do this, which is totally astonishing. But it was the intimidatory atmosphere. It was the real difficulty that the police had.
Now, wait a minute. See, now when you let that many illegal immigrants into your country because you want to be inclusive, and you don't even encourage assimilation, you don't even want to know whether they are loyal to your country and the values and the laws of your country. In fact, you kind of almost give them their own little country inside of a country. Yeah, you know, let them practice Sharia law. Don't let your police go in. And that's a lot of people. We're not talking about just 10, 11, 12 people. There are thousands now. And let's see how they are acting, because, over there in England, their cops don't even have guns. The bobbies be walking around like, hello, tally-ho. Now you need to calm down, Stud, before I put this stick on you. Man, that's all you got is a stick, Bobby.
In dealing with a lot of very aggressive young men.
Young men.
I tell you what, to anybody that told us 20 years ago that all diversity was good, the more people we allowed in from different cultures, the richer and better our country would be. Well, have a look at what happened last Saturday.
Whoa.
And I don't want to be too critical of the police because I get how difficult it was for them.
Wow, that's a lot of people. They're dealing with a whole nother beast right there. And see, here's the thing. I mean, I am all for immigration, but smart immigration. Your first priority should be to make sure that your country is safe, your citizens are safe. And it's not smart to let a whole bunch of people into the country that you can't tell if they love the country or not. See, coming into the country in two ways could eliminate the sincerity and the dedication you could have for getting citizenship. And these two ways are, one, being a refugee, okay, because say a war broke out or you were displaced or whatever, you're just going there because you're like, I'm trying to get away from this. Two is illegally coming through our border. So when you circumvent the normal process, that somebody who really wants to be an American, wants to come in and embrace American values, our freedom, our laws, the things that we provide, the American dream, they go through a process. It shows a level of commitment. That's what it does. Shows a level of commitment that I'm dead serious about being an American. But when you kind of circumvent that process and you just dump a whole bunch of people into a country, most likely they're going to stick with each other. They're going to bring whatever values they have from their country, whether it's good or bad, and they're going to stick together just like that. That's like right now, if they displaced 100,000 Americans, and I happen to be one, and they throw all 100,000 of us in Russia. I mean, out of nowhere. Do you think I'm going to go out and start mingling with the Russians? All 100,000 of us are going to huddle up and form our own little, network and be like, you know what, I don't like Russia anyway. I don't like the way the laws are over here. They're locking folks up. There's no free elections. We would be just a big pain in the butt for Russia. 100,000 of us is a problem. And they got hundreds and hundreds of these people, and maybe even 100,000s. Let's see.
But we're living in a world of complete double standards because, you see, there were two young lads turned up on Saturday holding an English cross of St. George.
Oh, you can't do that. So you got all these people yelling death to Israel, but you get two young lads that showed up holding some crosses, just like that lady who was out there praying in front of the abortion clinic, and those bobbies showed up at her house. Hello, you were seen praying outside, and well, yes, I was praying outside. Were you protesting? See, those are the serious things that they are going to get the bobbies out for. But now you got a real problem that the bobbies can't handle.
And the policeman goes over to them and says, now, no racist language, please. Yeah. As if because you've got the English flag, you're necessarily going to be a bad dude. And these were just a couple of lads having a bit of fun. Well, they were, taking a bit of a risk. And there was also supposed to be a march in a place called Golders Green in North London, which is the epicenter of the London Jewish community.
And what happened?
And the police advised the local Jewish community that march shouldn't go ahead.
Oh, no. So there you have it. Now, that's saying something when you can't guarantee the safety of your citizens. So what do? You default and deprive a whole group of people their rights to have their march. What is that saying about the people that you're trying to protect them from? Because, see, my thing is if you've assimilated and you've adopted you will let those people have their march. Don't worry about y'all doing anything to these people. That's how it should be. But instead, they decide, well, let's go ahead and shut down the march for the Jewish people because we can't guarantee your freedom or your safety. Unbelievable.
So what we're beginning to see is something of a surrender where radical Islam can voice its name in the streets. But in Berlin, I don't know whether you've seen this, Paul.
This is huge.
In Berlin, violent scuffles with the police. And just sort of think about this. In the country in 1945 that said never again, and with extremely good reason, Jewish houses having Stars of David painted on their front door. And Schultz, the Chancellor, responded in an interview in Der Spiegel, which was published yesterday, by saying, we're going to have to start with deportations.
Wow. So they're getting serious over there in Berlin. But see, you made this problem. You created the problem. This is equivalent to the United States and our 6 million illegal immigrants that we've let in since Mayorkas have been in charge. Imagine the 6 million plus the probably 20 other million that's been brought in all through the years, all of these illegal immigrants. Imagine if one day they all just decided to rise up and start tearing up neighborhoods and rioting and robbing and stealing and doing all of that stuff. Do you understand? Our police would be overwhelmed. Citizens would have to take to the streets and try to help out. I mean, if they all did that, we would be going, what? And all we could do is just say, well, we brought this on ourselves. That's what we did. We let them all in. We didn't screen them. We didn't just let them all in, thinking we were being inclusive or whatever our motive was. But now it's so many that if at once they were deciding to just act a fool, our military would have to come in or something. Because now they done let all these people in, and it was virtuous back then. But now that something has ruffled their feathers, we're talking about the extremists, the radical Islamic people over there. I'm sure there are a lot of people in Islam that say, man, why are we doing this? Why don't leave the people alone, let them march or whatever. But these folks aren't like that. Yeah, they're out there kind of in that Antifa / Black Lives Matter mode. So the police is concerned enough about these people and what they might do to the point where they tell the Jewish people, you can't even have your little march. So now they have themselves one big fat problem over there.
So there are some signs that some governments are going to get tough, but the problem is, since 2015, when millions crossed the Mediterranean in those open boats, and since Angela Merkel and the European Commission said everybody is welcome, we now have some very, very big populations, numbered in their millions, who are, instinctively, tribally, taking the Hamas side in what is going on in the Middle East. Europe has built up for itself simply the most enormous problem going ahead.
Yep.
And the incredible thing, while the world is...
And now he's about to shift the attention back to us, y'all. Oh, man, well, we got to have a raggedy president. Oh, okay, let me brace for impact.
At this tinderbox right now, we have this bloke in charge of the United States who crumbles before our very eyes. I'm frightened that he is the one who's supposedly going to be able to pull every lever and create peace in our time.
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy is a complete duffer. He is senile, let's just call it what it is. And he is also very responsible for much of what's happened.
What?
He was the vice president when the Iran nuclear deal was done. It freed up billions of dollars for the Iranian regime. All they had to do was promise they wouldn't develop nuclear weapons. Well, guess what? They've gone ahead developing nuclear weapons, and they've used that free money to fund Hamas and Hezbollah. And Biden is directly responsible for that catastrophe.
Yep. Crikey. Somebody said crikey. That's right. Biden is directly responsible for that, and he's still doing it. So under Obama, they made a dumb deal. Then he gets into office. Give them billions. It's their money. Unleash it. So they can use that for terroristic activities. And yet you think he's going to negotiate us out of this mess? That dude right there can't negotiate getting up. Took like 7 people to pick him up. Unbelievable. You got to pick him up all at once because a limb might fall off. All right, everybody lift gently, evenly. You're ripping his arm off. Unbelievable.
Catastrophic policy error. It was Trump afterwards, of course, who brought in the Abraham Accords.
3 times a dummy.
Arab countries together with Israel in peace pacts, very successful. Saudi Arabia was on the verge of doing something, and frankly,
Trump, baby.
Biden's visit to Israel, the fact that other leaders wouldn't see him, I thought was very, very significant.
Y'all hear that? Other leaders won't even see Biden. But remember, we're respected on the world stage now. Now, when Trump was supposed to be disrespected on the world stage, they were running each other over to get pictures with Trump, to stand next to Trump. Now, they might not have liked Trump behind closed doors, but you would have never known that. I talk about Mr. Trump. He demanded attention constantly. And now they won't even talk to Creepy Sleepy.
And then on the plane going back, he could barely utter a word.
Oh, I saw that. He's horrible.
Yeah, the leader of the free world does not inspire great confidence.
No.
The world is changing.
Oh, and this is why he doesn't inspire great confidence. Let's see his interpretation of how Trump would have handled these world events. Remember back then, 2020?
Change on. And the American people, including independents and some Republicans, know how bad he is.
The world did change because of what Trump had did. It was peaceful. Russia wasn't invading anybody. China was in check. North Korea was in check. Iran was in check. Everybody was in check. So what are you talking about? Peace in the Middle East? They were negotiating the Abraham Accords, all of that stuff. Economy was booming, and here he's talking about the world have changed because of what Trump has done. This is no different than when they asked him about his kid and their money they were getting from China. And this man just came out like, well, you should be focused on Trump and his atrocities. Look at him, all his kids and the money they're getting from China. But nobody said, how? What are you talking about? What money are you referring to? So now he just throwing the world has changed since Trump and what he's done. Well, what has he done? Because I just ripped off all the positive things that he did. I didn't sit around worrying about nuclear war. I wasn't thinking, oh man, they might send our troops overseas for something stupid. That's what I wasn't worried about.
Know how much he's misrepresented. Know how he's getting close to getting us in a war.
What is that? What is that? How much he misrepresented? Know how much? And look at these two interviewing him. They go on these safe spaces right there. Boy, let this dude come to Kev's corner. Oh man, I would be shining up the mic, blowing on it, making sure it's nice and crisp, because I would dive all in them. You know what? What do you mean when you say that, creepy? Give me an example. So now here he is. The things Trump has done.
Said, as the walls close in on this man, I'm worried he's going to get us to war in Iran. Unfortunately, I may have been right. The fact of the matter is, there's a lot at stake in this election.
Remember Hillary? She said, he'll cause a war. He'll cause a war. Look at him, the way he talks, he'll cause a war. I said, no, the way I talk, I'll stop wars.
So did you catch that? What they do is they use fear and projection to scare people to go vote for them. If you elect Trump, the whole world's going to collapse. That we're going to go into World War III immediately. Soon as he gets inaugurated, now World War III is going to start. Hey, if you're a person of color, you better run. There's some rocks and some hills and caves and stuff you guys can hide in and wait it out for Trump to get out of office. Other than that, you might be deported just because you're black or white or, some other race or whatever. So they said all of that would happen under Trump. And none of it happened. And now here we are with Biden, and we are at the verge of it all happening. So now those words just came back to biting.
I'm the only president in 72 years that didn't start a war.
Trump!
No, we didn't start, but we finished wars. We finished ISIS and a lot of others. We got out of Syria. We got out of Iraq.
There we go. You see that? We finished them. Listen, we're not just going to get rid of ISIS overnight. What? Trump did it in 2 weeks. It's amazing. Well, he's saying we're going to bring back jobs. How's he going to do this? It's not like he has a magic wand. Oh, he brought the jobs back. Trump's amazing. Oh, did I say that out loud? Trump did all of that. So then you hear Millie, remember Millie Vanilli? He said that Trump wanted to go to war with Iran. And now we find out it was Millie.
Let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This one just came out. Look. This was him.
So Millie was wrong?
They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department of him. We looked at him. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. Pages long.
Look at that. Millie Vanilli tried to set Trump up and bait him into going to war with Iran. I remember when it happened. I knew something was up when soon as they came out of that meeting after Iran shot down that drone. And I saw Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi come out hugging and laughing and giggling. I said, something's up. They went in there and they, for whatever reason, feel that we're about to go ahead and bait Trump into going to war, which would have been unpopular. They would have accused him of being a warmonger and attacking a sovereign country. They would have ran him through the stringer. And yet Trump stopped those jets in mid-stream. Now that right there is a wise president. That doesn't sound like somebody who wants to go to war. It sounds like somebody who wants to avoid war by being strong. He did what he had to do to Solomon Grundy, and then gave Iran the message. Look here, man. Do what you got to do to save face with your people, but you better not kill one American. And that didn't happen. And Milli Vanilli tried to make it seem like Trump wanted to go to war. No, it was Milli Vanilli and his whole crew. Nasty Pelosi and all of them.
These are the papers. This was done by the military.
Yeah, it was done by the military. Not Trump. He didn't want to
I
do
think
it.
we can probably,
That's interesting.
declassify. See, as president, I could have declassified.
Yeah.
What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
What is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran? Don't.
What?
Don't.
Don't. Everybody say, don't. Creepy sound like this. So he's talking about some don't. Then he got the other Muppet, don't. What does that mean? You only encourage me, baby. You only encourage me. That's what you just did. Talk about some don't. What does that even mean? You told the legal immigrants, don't come across our border, and they came. Unbelievable. So there it is. You hear that stern message to Hamas and Iran and all of them? Don't. No follow-up to that. Nope. Just don't. Well, guys, let's close out with Dems that play Follow the Lemming. Like all of them. Those two that we just saw are lemmings. They're not in charge of anything. They're lemmings as well. But there's more lemmings running around in the Democrat Party.
I think a lot of people look at this and they say, everyone needs to get over their ego. This doesn't happen in the Democrat side. They somehow, there's always squabbling and personal feelings. This one doesn't like that one.
Because they're all what?
Coming out
lemmings.
in a wash. And everybody is watching it. As a leader, could you put that kind of to rest for your party, do you think?
Listen, I think it can definitely help. You got to understand, with the Democrats, they believe in top-down authoritarian management. So they're perfectly fine with just being lemmings and following the leader. That is not Republican members. We believe in individuality, individual thought, and being able to represent your districts. So if you're going to transform the people's house, which I believe is 100% what needs to happen, from a body focused on what the speaker wants and nobody else, into a body that is about what the members want, and they work cohesively, there's going to be some growing pains in moving back to that structure. Yeah. This is a part of it, but I believe we're going to land this plane, we're going to elect a speaker, and we're going to get back to work.
And we did. We ended up landing a speaker as the Democrats implode with internal fighting over the support for Israel versus Palestine and all of that mess. We done brought in a speaker that I realize now that he's legit. And I'm going to tell you why. Mike Johnson is definitely legit. It's official because he has now been baptized by the fake news. Y'all ready for these lemons? These lemmings that have been assigned to come out and parrot the same stuff. When you come under this type of attack, listen to the terms. Listen to the lemmings following the direction from the top down. The attack is all the same. Mike Johnson is a what?
Republicans unanimously voted in Mike Johnson, an extreme far-right religious ideologue from Louisiana. This guy's...
What? Jeez. I mean, you would think he hated the guy. Extreme far-right Christian ideologue from Louisiana. How many more negative terms could you come up with? Now you're starting to see the demons come out of these people right here. The left hates Christianity. They despise it. Fundamental Christianity. Yeah, they're okay with the watered down version, the peaceful get along form of Christianity. Yeah, make sure you're just a lukewarm, watered down one that never vocalizes your beliefs, your biblical belief. Keep that mess to yourself. Don't you be out in the streets talking about, well, actually, the Bible says. Don't do that. Don't you ever bring up what God says in a conversation when we want to get hold of your kids and change their genders. Don't you be talking about that Bible. When we start feeding y'all some bull crap about, well, there's men, women, and there's whatever else you want to be, you can change that. And you say, well, actually, the Bible says God created man and woman. They don't want to hear that mess. See, they don't want to hear it. And then when something like this happens, their hatred starts to leak out. Now, you want to see the spirit of the Antichrist in these people? Listen to how they all focus on the fact that he's a Christian. Almost as if it's dirty to be a Christian. Yeah, almost as if they don't even realize that there are millions of Christians in the United States. And they just throwing trash on this dude because he's a Christian. And he's far right, things that he never said he was.
As a Christian nationalist? He's a Christian nationalist.
What is that? What is a Christian nationalist? Now, did you think they all woke up? You think they all woke up with this? Eureka, I just got a revelation. Mike Johnson is a Christian nationalist. You think they're that clever to come up with that? Or did somebody send out an email? All right, here's the talking point. I need all you lemmings to go after Mike Johnson. Call him, let's see what's a good way to call it, a Christian nationalist. Because, see, the bubbleheads won't even realize that when you say nationalist, you're not really referring to white nationalists. They're going to just make that connection. What, he's a Christian and he's a white nationalist? So now here he is, he's a Christian nationalist and some more things.
This much of a religious fanatic, there is no room for real democracy.
What are you talking about? Now, see, religious fanatic, no room for real democracy. What is a fanatic to him? Maybe he should go and check out what Hamas is doing. See, but religious fanatic. And then, oh, here's Big Face.
He is a very loyal soldier to the far-right movement.
A low-ranking...
The far-right movement. The lemmings are out. You see these lemmings. That's why I know Mike Johnson is the man. Because the fake news is baptizing him. Oh, yeah. He's now being called everything under the sun. Here, what else he is?
Far-right Republican.
Johnson, a hard-right conservative.
Hard-right conservative.
A hard-line conservative.
Far-right, far Christian right.
Oh, look at him. They slapping stuff on top of it. He's a far-right Christian extremist. What did the last person say? Let's see if we could top that one. He's a far-right extremist, white nationalist. No, can we say that? Can we say he's a white nationalist? That's too far? We just call him a nationalist because our people just assume it's white national. Okay. All right. He's a far-right nationalist, Christian, extremist. Unbelievable. What else is he?
Right, extreme.
Far right.
Much further.
Ooh, you hear the choir? Far right, far right, far right, far right, far right, far right, far right. How did they all know to say that? Who's writing these scripts? Y'all see the choir all on one accord? All right, everybody, come on, let's rehearse. All right, the lyrics to this song is far right Christian sopranos. Far right Christian, far right Christians, far right Christians, extremists, far right, white nationalists. Unbelievable. These are evil, evil, evil people. And they're attacking him based on his religion as well. Far right.
The right.
The reason this guy is speaker is none of us had the time to read his resume and realize he's David Duke light.
Oh my God. Yeah, Mike Johnson's good. He's good. I'm pretty confident he's the right guy. When you start getting terms thrown out there like David Duke, they don't like you. They want a shot at his title. These are the assassins that the left have sent out right here. They're like, oh yeah, we got to bring out the big guns because this guy, we didn't expect him to get in. We were hoping that a big fat rhino would have got in. Man. All right, here we go. What's the worst things we could call him? Let's go a little bit of David Duke. Let's recycle that one. Interesting.
Mike Johnson, there's a reason why they call him that.
The MAGA faction, the anti-democracy faction.
The anti-democracy faction. Boy, you got to love it, man. And they're so obvious. I'm sitting there thinking, like, do they really not know we don't recognize what they're doing? It's sad because their audience don't. I mean, I was in the bank the other day, and this lady kept asking, the teller, she kept asking questions about what I do. And I'm like, oh boy, I got a feeling I'm gonna tick her off. Oh, yeah, I don't even know how the bank knew that I did this. But she was like, oh, so you're a political commentator? I was like, now this is a bank I ain't never even been to. Ain't never been to. You're a political commentator? I was like, yeah. Oh, we were like, what? What do you talk about? Well, I do trying to lighten it up. I do a blog up, sometimes talk about them. Like what? What kind of things you talk about? You're going to make me say it, aren't you? Well, I talk about politics. Oh, are you on the good side or the bad side? I said, well, that depends on your interpretation of that. And she said, okay, well, let me just ask you this. Someone who was received 81 indictments, do you think that they should still be able to be president? I said, that depends on if they're 81 legitimate indictments. Oh, see, that's how you shut that down. I'm like, you just fell for that. You really think Trump is under 81 legit indictments? I'm like, who's indicting him? Who are the people indicting him? What's their motive? Y'all don't think like that? What would make these people come up with 81 indictments against a man who's running against the person they want to win? She ain't ever put that together. She thinks every one of them was legit. 81 indictments. She thinks he should. Are they legit? You don't think these people have the power to come up and concoction 81 bootleg indictments? Unbelievable. And now, since she can't see through it, that's why they're doing it. They're doing this because of people like her. People like her is like, yes, I listen to these people and they said he has 81 indictments.
The far right. One, does this signal that he and his extreme views represent the Republican Party?
Mike Johnson has an affable personality, okay? These are the most dangerous types. Hardline conservative.
Boy, it's amazing, man. These are worst hitmen ever. I can see these hits coming a mile away. If they were trying to knock me off, I'd be like, okay, you're very suspicious. They're walking around looking at me, and I'm going, why is this person staring at me? If we were talking in their collar, okay, he's on the move. All right, I'm going to take the shot. You'll never catch me this way. These people right here are out there just like, he's dangerous. I'm pretty much sure he's worse than Trump. He hangs out with Diablo. And
conservative, but palatable. He will say the craziest things with just the most mild-mannered milquetoast tone.
He had, this Ned Flanders vibe.
Jim Jordan with a jacket and a smile.
Jim Jordan with a jacket and a smile.
It was very clear that he was, despite that Ned Flanders vibe, a fire-breathing conservative.
Johnson.
How in the world are they all saying these things together? They're lemmings. Ned Flanders with a jacket, turn the channel. Ned Flanders with a jacket, turn the channel. Ned Flanders with a jacket. You know what? In spite of this Ned Flanders, I'm like, oh, God.
Is more dangerous than Donald Trump because Johnson actually wants to make America into a Christian theocracy. Right?
Oh, what the? They just hate Christianity. Just hate it so much. That he wants to turn America into a Christian theocracy. What does that even mean? What would that look like to her? Does that mean we'll go ahead and grab big face Joy Reid every Sunday and drag her in the church? You think that's what that would mean? Huh? Grab that big apple head and drag her big head right into the church. That head's too big to even fit in the doorway anyway. You know how much oil we would have to use to anoint that big face? They would be bringing oil. We need another truckload of oil for the big face girl. Dang on it. But here she is at the Christian theocracy. And then you get dang on Raggedy Patty, who does the last hit piece of the night. Listen to this craziness to once again confirm that Mike Johnson is the right man for the job.
Right now, one deeply religious conservative Republican is limping out of the race for president after failing to gain any traction whatsoever. Another deeply religious conservative Republican just ascended to the speakership and is now second in line to the presidency. One of the key differences between Mike Pence and Mike Johnson is, well, Pence refused to go along with Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the election in 2020, while Mike Johnson was a key architect of that.
How, Raggedy Ann? How, Peppermint Patty? Thus combining those together, and you get Raggedy Patty. How Raggedy Patty did he help orchestrate that? You just get out there and you say that and keep going in your monologue. Unbelievable.
Apparently, there is still a place in the Republican Party for extreme Christian conservatism.
The evil people. Apparently, just very facetious, condescending. Apparently, there is for Christian conservatism. Are we dirty? Are Christians dirty? Conservatives filthy? I mean, you're too conservative? What is that? They're trying to shame and punk people in to becoming more liberal by making it appear that if you have fundamental Christian beliefs, you are spooky, deep, extreme. And then she has the nerve to even say your religion is outdated.
So long as it's paired with a fealty to the former president. So let's take a few minutes to talk about this new speaker. First glance, Mike Johnson does seem fine-ish. Conservative, yes, but he once started a civility caucus with a Democrat. And I mean, if nothing else, he wears a suit and has glasses. How threatening can this guy actually be?
See? You see the setup? You see the how they are trying to manipulate the mind of their viewers. So now what you want to do is get everybody to not see him as a good person. Don't look at, don't let your guard down. This guy, he might talk smoothly, got nice glasses and his suit and stuff, but he's really evil on the inside. See, I want to make him look evil. I want every time y'all see him to envision what we are describing him to be. Just like they made the MAGA hat all of a sudden look evil. Something that it was innocuous. Make America great again. And I hate that hat. That red hat symbolizes white nationalism. So now all of a sudden people start losing their mind. They created a trigger for these people. And just by enforcing this narrative constantly into their head. That is why all those lemmings in the montage were all trying to say, don't let the smooth taste fool you. He's really evil. He looks nice. He looks gentle. Yeah, he claims he's a Christian, but he's far worse than any of those things. So let's finish hearing this hit piece.
Well, he gave us all a little clue as to how he would govern in an interview this week.
Oh, tell us.
I am a Bible-believing Christian. Someone asked me today in the media, they said, it's curious. People are curious. What does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? I said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview.
And look at it. You see that? You see Raggedy Patty getting ready for the hit? Easy, Raggedy, because there's a lot of Bible-believing Christians in America. But MSNBC is a satanic, supported, and influenced network who really despise fundamental Christianity. They're okay with you if you bring a whole bunch of drag queens in your church and let them sing and talk to your kids and all of that stuff. They're okay with that stuff. But just the fact that he said he's a fundamental Bible-believing Christian, here she comes with the hit piece. Not just on him, but on any Bible-believing Christian.
You heard that right. The Bible doesn't just inform his worldview, it is his worldview.
And that's wrong? And that's wrong? Did he say, and you know what, I'm going to use the Bible to trump the laws of the land? I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, like Moses said in the Bible, an eye for an eye. I'm going to go ahead and start making all of these liberal sacrifice lambs unto Yahweh. I'm going to go ahead and make sure. None of that. She just straight came out there like it is his worldview.
In fact, during his first speech in his new job, Johnson suggested that his election as speaker was an act of God.
You can't believe God could do something like that. See, they don't believe in God. They're godless. Look at the sarcasm and the disdain. Look at her body language. An act of God, like these crazy, silly people. These witchcraft, foolish people. Dibbling and dabbling in the black arts. These things that are so crazy. Just totally disregarding people's faith and belief that God can do things in their life can speak to them and say, hey, you know what? Go and do this, my son, or I'm going to bless you to do this, or I've approved this, or I anointed you to do this. And here she is belittling all of that. And yet you get Christians who vote for these idiots. Does it look like any Democrat politician or any of these left-wing networks that many Christians watch would ever support your beliefs? Outside of telling you everybody is racist, everything else that they support goes directly against your biblical beliefs. And look at this sarcasm and condescension, act of God. And then watch this.
Talk about a bit of a humble brag there.
So see, yeah, there it is. You arrogant if you say God did it. There it is. You're arrogant if you believe God did it. Now, this woman right here would never survive just one day walking into my church back in Cincinnati during testimony service. I woke up today and God told me he was going to bless me, and God did it. I said, God, I need a mailbox blessing because I can't pay my rent, and God said it's coming, and I went to the door when the mailman came, and the blessing was there. God told me. She would have to say that to everybody in the church. Now, well, you guys are arrogant because you're saying God's doing things for you, and he did it. Unbelievable, this big, nasty, raggedy Patty.
So what exactly has God apparently called on Mike Johnson to do? Well, his views on policy are essentially what you'd expect from a religious fundamentalist. They're...
What you would expect from a religious fundamentalist.
more divisive than they are divine.
Oh, God. I almost fear for her. Almost fear for her. The stuff that she's saying right now is such the spirit of the Antichrist. She don't even realize what she's saying. I almost want to pray for her, like, forgive her, Father, for she knows not what she do. They're more divisive than, it's all over her. All over her.
Prior to his election to Congress in 2016, Johnson spent nearly 2 decades working for the hard-right conservative legal activist group, the Alliance Defending Freedom.
Do you mean the hard-right legal activist group that made sure they protect Christians' rights so they weren't sued because they didn't want to make a cake for 2 men? Stuff like that? Because if y'all had your way, y'all would have went around bullying every Christian or religious organization that didn't want to embrace the garbage that you're trying to shove into society. So now all of a sudden she's going to use the Southern law, whatever, to justify that, which is nothing but an activist law.
It's a group, by the way, that is so right-wing, it was designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
A hate group, Southern Law Center. So what? You're going to get people who hate what I do, hate what I believe, to determine what I am. It's a hate group. What kind of propaganda is this? But see, it's deep, man. It's deeper than what people realize because they try to legitimize these organizations, which are nothing more than propaganda. They're formed to do exactly this, to discredit and to label anybody who disagrees with your ideology as hateful. And then they slap a title of Southern Law Firm, Southern Law Group. These are like legitimate. Same thing with the fact checkers. Or you know what? We want to shape the minds of the people, manipulate data and manipulate information and all of that stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up an organization and call it a fact-checking organization. But really, we're going to put our friends and our radical folks in there to run interference for us. So anything that comes out that hurts us, you guys say we fact-checked it and it's not right. And then the idiots that don't realize that you're working together will say, well, what the fact checker said. Same thing with this law firm.
The problem with Johnson isn't at all his faith. He's entitled to his personal beliefs, as everyone is.
Is he? Is he? See, now you want to try to clean it up. It's not his faith. Everybody can believe whatever they believe, but keep that mess to yourself. Don't let your religion leak out in your everyday lifestyle. Don't let your religion determine the choices you make and how you vote. Don't you do that. When we start knocking on your door, your kids in there, what gender is they? Well, I got a little boy and a girl. See, what you are right there is you're a transphobe. We want those kids. When we start doing that, Then all of a sudden, now we don't want your religion leaking out to interfere with our agenda.
Even if they come from the 18th century. But when
There it is. All you Christians, your faith is null and void. It's outdated. Did you know that? Christianity sizzled out because it come from the 18th century. Didn't have enough to keep going. It's like, whew, boy, we got it all the way up to the 19th century. Whew, we out of gas. They're on their own. They're on their own. I think they'll be okay. We brought them this far. Let them figure out the rest. Can you believe her? Even if they are from the 18th century. Boy, I don't see how any Christian could watch MSNBC. Even a backslidden Christian should be like, ugh.
When those beliefs encroach on the rights of others, that's when it becomes dangerous.
How?
Whether the rights of gay people, trans people, or the millions of Americans out there who were entitled to have their vote counted.
And that last closing little statement is nothing but propaganda and garbage. Trans people, y'all see my show yesterday with the gay guy, literally was on the internet venting, talking about if Joe Biden doesn't win, they're going to make it illegal for me to be gay. This is what the propaganda does. Here she is talking about trans women, people rather, gay people, like what? Nobody's coming after adult trans people. Yeah, you might not be able to force yourself in girls' bathrooms. You might not be able to force yourself in women's sports. You might not be able to do some of the stuff that they want to shove down our throats, but your own personal decisions mean nothing to us. You're 18 or 21 or whatever age you need to be to do whatever you want to do to yourself, have at it. But when you start snooping around the schools like you-know-whatter, those kids over there, all right, that kid picked up a pink ball. I'm sure that he's now tapping into his inner transgender. So let's go ahead over and encourage him. Hey, Timmy, why did you pick up that pink ball? Because there was a ball and it was rolling and I thought I could pick it up and play with it. No, Timmy. See, what you're really doing is you're picking up your inner self. See, you've been rolling around on the inside, Timmy, and that pink ball represents you. And when you picked it up, it showed that you're not really Timmy. You're Tammy on the inside. But my mama said I'm Timmy. Your mom is an enemy to the state. You understand that? Don't listen to her, Timmy. Tammy. Don't listen to her, Tammy. See, that's where they want to go with it. That's where they want to go with it. And she's up there talking about the fringe upon transgender rights and gay rights, and then got the nerve to say, folks' right to vote. I didn't know that was a part of the Christian belief. All right, the Lord told me, don't let dummies vote. The sad part about it is we got to let all the dummies vote as well. Nobody's talking about suppressing any votes, but this is all slander. This is all propaganda and this is the spirit of the Antichrist. They cannot stand Christianity. They can't stand conservatism, and they are willing to say whatever they have to say to intimidate, discourage, manipulate, all of that stuff, to stay in power, to push their agenda, and we got it all on display tonight, thanks to Kevin from Kevin's Corner. They're disgusting, and I'm here to point it out. I'm telling you right now, I wish that a giant could blow one big booger on top of all of them. A giant shoots a hawker on every single person that we just watched throw out that hit piece on Mike Johnson. But one thing it did do is it confirmed that Mike Johnson is the right man for the job. God bless y'all. God bless America. Hit that like button. Follow me on all the other platforms. Don't forget to donate to my little charity cause, once a month cause. The link's right below this video. And what else? Oh, follow me on my other channel, my alternative channel. Stop and think about it. And follow me on X. Follow me on something else too. Rumble. And yeah. Oh, and these are all converted into podcasts as well. So you can check those out. Now, let's get ready to get out of here because I'll be back again tomorrow. Lighting their tails up. All right. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Somebody said, great show. Thanks, Kev. No, thank you. Delicious. Got it. Round goal, folks. Yeah. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.